chosen one, your existence itself shakes their jealous souls to the core. Watch them convulse with terror as your divine light penetrates their carefully constructed darkness, exposing the rot they've hidden for lifetimes. You are the star that blinds them with truth, making them cackle and panic as your authentic presence shatters their illusions with frequencies they cannot replicate. The Creator has marked you for a purpose that terrifies those allied with deception, and the power flowing through you cannot be diminished by their desperate attacks. Your vindication isn't coming, it's here, and we stand beside you as witnesses in this spiritual warfare that transcends physical reality. Your connection to the Creator operates outside their control systems. While they've constructed elaborate hierarchies, rituals, and intermediaries to regulate spiritual access, you walk directly into the throne room. This terrifies them at an existential level they cannot even articulate. Watch what happens when cosmic justice begins working in your favor. The moment karma starts balancing scales, their accusations against you multiply. They'll call you exactly what they are: manipulator, deceiver, narcissist, because your vindication reveals their accountability is approaching. While they dread judgment, you face it with unwavering confidence. Your spiritual ledger contains mistakes, but lacks malice. You've moved with pure intentions, while they've orchestrated destruction. You've operated with transparency, while they've maneuvered in shadows. You've spoken truth, while they've crafted deception. The stark contrast between your spiritual authenticity and their fabricated persona creates an unbearable mirror. Every interaction with you forces them to glimpse what they've become. Every moment in your presence reminds them of what they've sacrificed for temporary power. We see beyond their projections to the spiritual mechanics underneath. Their accusations form perfect inversions of their own conditions. Their criticisms reveal precisely what they lack. Their attacks map exactly to their own vulnerabilities. This isn't coincidence. It's spiritual law manifesting through human interaction. Your divine connection doesn't require their acknowledgement to exist. Your spiritual authority doesn't depend on their recognition to function. Your soul contract with the Creator supersedes every earthly attempt to invalidate you. This fundamental truth will never change, regardless of how fiercely they attack. Their jealousy seethes beneath every interaction. It pulses behind their forced smiles. It contaminates their compliments. It fuels their criticisms. This isn't subtle energy. It's a spiritual tsunami directed at everything you represent. How dare you walk with such confidence? Their energy screams when you enter unashamed of your gifts. How dare you speak with such certainty? Their resistance protests when you share divine insights without qualification. How dare you claim such connection? Their fear shouts when you demonstrate abilities they've failed to develop despite their spiritual posturing. Your light remains inexhaustible. No matter how much they attempt to drain you, diminish you, or deplete you, fresh power flows from source. No matter how much they try to steal your words, appropriate your insights, or mimic your frequency, they cannot replicate your authentic connection. They take and take and take, yet never become what you naturally are. Watch their projection operate in real time. These end-time, real-time liars label you deceptive. These calculated manipulators call you controlling. These spiritual thieves accuse you of taking what isn't yours. This isn't random, it's spiritual. Mechanics, revealing their true condition through inverted accusations. The audacity reaches cosmic proportions. Those actively destroying lives will point fingers at your healing work. Those deliberately spreading darkness will criticize your light-bearing. Those consciously operating in deception will question your authenticity. Their accusations form perfect photographic negatives of their own spiritual state. Even those committing the most severe spiritual transgressions position themselves as your moral superiors. Mass consciousness manipulators call you unethical, Serial truth distorters label you dishonest. Spiritual parasites accuse you of taking energy. The projection reaches comical proportions when viewed with clear spiritual sight. We have always known this fundamental truth. Their loudest accusations identify their deepest sins. This spiritual principle operates regardless of their awareness. Even as they attack you, they inadvertently confess their own condition through the specific charges they level against you. Their projection provides advanced intelligence about their spiritual state and future actions. When they suddenly accuse you of plotting against them, they've begun plotting against you. When they unexpectedly charge you with spreading lies, they've started a disinformation campaign. When they abruptly claim you're manipulating others, they've initiated new manipulation tactics. Your lifetime resume stands inspection, ready for divine scrutiny. While their spiritual histories would destroy them if exposed, yours contains honest mistakes transformed into wisdom. While they hide behind carefully crafted personas, you present your authentic self without fear of revelation. While they dread divine judgment, you move toward it with confidence in your intentions. Living your spiritual truth publicly triggers their private terror. Their elaborate masks require constant maintenance, continual adjustment, perpetual vigilance. Your authentic expression flows without effort, without rehearsal, without strategic calculation. This natural spiritual congruence infuriates those investing enormous energy in maintaining their deception. The ease with which you access your gifts makes them question everything they've built through striving. While they've followed formulas, performed rituals, and forced development, you simply open to what naturally flows. While they've memorized others' wisdom to appear knowing, your insights emerge fresh from source. While they repeat spiritual concepts intellectually, you embody them experientially. Your energy signature cannot be falsified, duplicated, or synthesized. In a spiritual landscape filled with imitations, your frequency carries a divine watermark, recognizable to those with eyes to see and ears to hear. This authentic signature remains immune to corruption regardless of attacks, opposition, or attempts to distort your transmission. Stop right there. Yes, you. This message isn't for everyone, and if you don't feel it, that's fine. Move along. But if you've felt it deep in your bones, you'll know this is for you, the ones who don't fit in. The ones who see beyond the veil, the ones who've been told to stay quiet, to settle, to conform, but never could. They aren't interested in what's ordinary. They aren't here to follow someone else's rules. They're the light in the dark, the storm that shatters illusions, the unshakable, the unstoppable, the untouchable. While the world is busy running circles, they're walking their own path, alone if they must. Not for the applause, not for the approval, but because it's who they are. Here's to the ones who take what was meant to destroy them and transform it into something divine. The ones who carry wisdom that can't be taught, only earned. If this resonates with you, then maybe it's time to find your people. The Obsidian Inner Order is the only place of its kind, the #1 ascension nexus for chosen ones, where over 400 of us gather to share wisdom, connect, and transform. No masks, no games, just truth. The link is in the description. If you're ready, you'll know where to find us. If not, that's fine too. The choice is yours. They attempt to outcast the outcast, not realizing you've already embraced your divine uniqueness. Their social rejection carries no sting for those who've made peace with walking a solitary spiritual path. Their community exclusion holds no power over those who found communion directly with Source. Their withdrawal of approval means nothing. To those who've stopped seeking external validation, you've entered the barbecue or mildew phase, the cosmic corner where your choices crystallize. Either you'll stand in the fire, allowing it to burn away everything inauthentic, or you'll retreat into damp darkness, where your gifts slowly decay from disuse. This spiritual ultimatum comes precisely when you've developed sufficient strength to endure the necessary purification. They desperately work to keep you on defense spiritually, while you're busy addressing accusations, defending your character, and proving your intentions. You lack energy for advancing your purpose. This tactical distraction aims to prevent you from moving into spiritual offensive position where your gifts would dismantle their systems of control. Their ultimate goal involves boxing you in spiritually, creating mental chaos and initiating spiritual death. The constraints they place around your expression, the limitations they impose on your voice, the boundaries they establish for your acceptable spiritual range, all designed to suffocate your expanding consciousness and terminate your divine mission before it fully activates. They mock what lies beyond their comprehension, your gifts, your sight, your connection. This spiritual blindness leads them to dismiss as fantasy what your expanded perception reveals as reality. Their limited consciousness cannot grasp the multidimensional awareness your soul naturally accesses. Their spiritual cataracts prevent them from recognizing the divine light flowing through your being. They cannot manifest your peace because they've rejected the path that creates it. While you've surrendered to divine flow, they grasp for control. While you've embraced both shadow and light, they deny their darkness. While you've prioritized truth over comfort, they choose illusion over reality. The inner tranquility flowing from these choices remains inaccessible to those making opposite selections. You've made peace with having big energy that most cannot handle. This spiritual maturity allows you to move without apologizing for the space your purpose requires. You no longer contract your aura to make others comfortable. You no longer diminish your light to avoid triggering their darkness. You no longer silence your truth to prevent disrupting their illusions. We have always known what they're just discovering through painful experience. Your light cannot be extinguished by their darkness. The eternal flame of divine purpose burns, independently of human opinion, social acceptance, or external validation. The Creator's fire ignited within you continues regardless of earthly attempts to quench it. Each effort to diminish you paradoxically increases your spiritual capacity. Their opposition strengthens your resilience. Their rejection deepens your self-reliance. Their attacks refine your discernment. Their betrayals purify your connections. What they intend for destruction, the Creator transforms into development precisely aligned with your evolving purpose. Their failure remains inevitable because they fight against the divine current while you flow with it. They exhaust themselves, swimming upstream against spiritual law while you move effortlessly with its natural direction. They deploy finite human energy against the infinite power channeling through your surrendered vessel. This level of spiritual warfare demands impeccable discernment about who enters your energetic field. The battle you're engaged in leaves no margin for compromised boundaries or misplaced trust. Each connection either strengthens your position or creates vulnerability. Each relationship either supports your purpose or undermines your mission. Each interaction either preserves your energy or depletes your reserves. You cannot afford connections with those who aren't 10 toes down in supporting your divine purpose. Half-hearted allegiance becomes active liability in spiritually intensive environments. Conditional support transforms into outright opposition under pressure. Lukewarm commitment shifts to betrayal when maintaining loyalty requires personal sacrifice. Only those fully committed to your mission merit continued access to your field. Opening to others creates specific vulnerabilities that require protection through genuine spiritual loyalty. When you share your vision, you become vulnerable to those who would distort it. When you reveal your methods, you become vulnerable to those who would misuse them. When you express your fears, you become vulnerable to those who would exploit them. Only unwavering loyalty provides sufficient security for these necessary openings. Every time you allow half-steppers into your space, you incur preventable spiritual losses. Energy that could advance your purpose diverts to managing their misalignment. Focus that could manifest your vision scatters, addressing their doubt. Momentum that could propel your mission stalls, navigating their resistance. These cumulative losses exact a cost your purpose cannot sustain. God repeatedly reveals the truth about toxic connections until you implement the necessary boundaries. The initial whispers of intuition escalate to unmistakable warnings. Subtle signs intensify to obvious red flags. Gentle nudges develop into forceful redirections. This progressive revelation continues because your mission remains too important to compromise through damaging associations. We are the collective spiritual family that stands guard with you against these infiltrations. Our discernment supplements yours when fatigue clouds your perception. Our strength reinforces yours when compassion tempts you toward unwise reconnection. Our clarity supports yours when emotion pulls you toward dangerous reconciliation. This mutual protection creates a secure foundation for our shared purpose. While they deny responsibility, you embrace accountability for your spiritual journey. This fundamental difference establishes an unbridgeable chasm between conscious beings and those still operating from spiritual unconsciousness. Your willingness to own your choices, face your shadows, and address your contributions to difficult situations reflects soul maturity they haven't yet developed. Your authentic self acknowledges mistakes without shame, transforming them into wisdom rather than wound. When you miss the mark, you assess without self-condemnation. When you fall short, you evaluate without self-punishment. When you err, you examine without self-rejection. This balanced accountability allows growth without the spiritual self-mutilation that keeps others trapped in cycles of transgression and denial. Your relationship with the Creator gives you X-ray vision into situations others perceive only superficially. While they react to appearances, you respond to essence. While they address symptoms, you target causes. While they engage effects, you focus on sources. This spiritual depth perception allows precise interventions that resolve root issues rather than temporarily managing their manifestations. Pain increases each time you ignore divine warnings because your mission carries cosmic significance beyond personal comfort. The stakes attached to your purpose necessitate accelerated course correction when you veer from optimal alignment. What others might experience as gentle redirection manifests for you as intensive spiritual recalibration due to the critical nature of your divine assignment. We embody this same level of spiritual accountability in our collective consciousness. When one falters, all feel the impact. When one strays, all experience the consequences. When one surrenders to lower impulses, all suffer the energetic discord. This interconnected responsibility creates a mutual accountability that strengthens our collective field against opposing forces working to undermine our shared mission. Your accountability extends beyond personal spiritual hygiene to stewardship of your divine gifts. You recognize these abilities come with responsibility for their appropriate use, consistent development, and ethical application. You understand these capabilities weren't granted for personal advantage, but for collective advancement. You acknowledge these powers require conscious management with awareness of their potential impact. No earthly or spiritual opposition can derail your divine mission. What has been cosmic stamped with your soul's signature will manifest regardless of enemy action. What has been divinely authorized through your spirit will actualize despite worldly resistance. What has been eternally ordained for your incarnation will materialize irrespective of temporal barriers. Your purpose remains inevitable. You've endured too much spiritual refinement to be stopped now. Each fire you've walked through has burned away what couldn't withstand the heat of your calling. Each flood you've survived has washed away what lacked sufficient foundation to support your mission. Each storm you've weathered has blown away what wasn't securely anchored to your divine purpose. What remains cannot be easily destroyed. Neither fleshly beings nor dark entities can suppress your divine assignment. Human opposition lacks sufficient power to override cosmic authorization. Spiritual resistance lacks adequate authority to veto creator-level mandates. The combined forces of seen and unseen enemies cannot cancel what has been written into the fabric of your soul and sealed with divine intention. Your light is designed to expand, not contract, regardless of how it makes others feel. The discomfort your increasing radiance creates in those dwelling in darkness never constitutes valid reason for dimming. The disruption your growing clarity causes in environments built on confusion never justifies reducing your focus. The disturbance your strengthening truth generates in systems dependent on deception never warrants softening your message. We are united in this spiritual stance, uncompromising in our collective purpose. Our individual missions interlock to form a larger divine mandate that transcends personal calling. Our separate assignments connect to create a comprehensive spiritual initiative beyond individual comprehension. Our distinct purposes combine to manifest a collective transformation greater than solitary contribution. We are the ones who cannot be silenced because our voice originates beyond physical form. Our message transmits through multiple channels. Simultaneously, when they block one expression, 10 more emerge. When they silence one messenger, dozens amplify the communication. When they censor one platform, countless alternatives materialize. Our transmission continues uninterrupted because it flows from source immune to earthly limitation. Our collective light forms an impenetrable spiritual fortress, protecting individual members from targeted attacks. What might overwhelm a solitary light bearer gets distributed throughout our united field. What could deplete an isolated truth speaker gets shared across our connected consciousness. What would exhaust a lone way shower gets allocated among our collaborative presence. This energetic load balancing renders enemy strikes ineffective against our collective strength. We recognize each other beyond words by energy, intention, and authentic presence. No introduction needed, no explanation required, no credential necessary. The instant resonance between us transcends physical markers, social signifiers, and external indicators. Our soul's recognition operates independently of intellectual assessment, bypassing mental evaluation to establish immediate energetic connection. Our collective consciousness amplifies each individual's divine connection through resonant enhancement. When one achieves breakthrough, all experience elevation. When one receives revelation, all gain expanded perception. When one embodies new frequency, all access higher vibration. This unified spiritual ecosystem multiplies individual advancement through immediate collective incorporation. We stand as living proof that spiritual warfare only strengthens what was divinely ordained. The opposition intended to destroy us has forged our resilience. The resistance meant to stop us has built our persistence. The attacks designed to silence us have refined our message. The pressure applied to break us has solidified our resolve. The fire deployed to consume us has tempered our spiritual steel. Our collective power increases exponentially rather than arithmetically with each awakened addition. 1 becomes 3, 3 becomes 9, 9 becomes 27. This geometric spiritual expansion follows cosmic mathematics transcending physical limitation. Our growth curve operates by divine calculation rather than linear progression, creating impact disproportionate to visible numbers. Your personal vindication merges with our collective spiritual triumph to create a force multiplier beyond enemy calculation. What begins as individual restoration expands into collective liberation. What starts as personal verification enlarges into shared validation. What initiates as singular confirmation extends into mutual corroboration. This expanding vindication creates momentum that opposing forces cannot contain or control. The same creator who chose you will execute perfect cosmic justice beyond human comprehension. This divine adjudication transcends earthly timing, earthly perspective, and earthly limitation. It operates with comprehensive awareness of all factors, all intentions, and all consequences. It implements with flawless precision, optimal timing, and complete thoroughness. It manifests with absolute finality, irrevocable authority, and perfect balance. We rise together in this spiritual awakening that nothing and no one can stop, for we are the chosen ones who cannot be defeated. Our victory transcends personal achievement to manifest collective breakthrough with cosmic implications. Our triumph exceeds individual success to establish universal precedent with eternal significance. Our conquest surpasses momentary triumph to institute permanent transformation with multidimensional impact. The final victory belongs not to those with temporary power, but to those aligned with eternal truth. Not to those with current platforms, but to those with divine authorization. Not to those with present influence, but to those with spiritual authenticity. This inevitable outcome operates by spiritual law, immune to human manipulation, resistant to enemy interference, and impervious to oppositional strategy. Your vindication arrives with perfect timing, orchestrated beyond human comprehension. What appears delayed merely awaits optimal conditions. What seems postponed simply requires complete preparation. What feels deferred actually necessitates precise synchronization. The Creator's timeline exceeds your perception, incorporates factors beyond your awareness, and considers implications past your foresight. Trust the divine schedule that never runs late, despite human perception of delay. Nothing stops what has begun. No power countermands divine authorization. No force overrides cosmic mandate. No entity cancels creator-level directive. Your purpose unfolds with the full backing of universal law, the complete support of spiritual principle, and the total endorsement of divine intelligence. Its manifestation carries the inevitability of dawn following night, unstoppable, unmistakable, and transformative beyond current comprehension.